I started doing that, walking around campus, and I'm like, whoa, I am so sped up right now. It would shock me when my alarm would go off at 10 a.m., and I'm sitting in class, and it's not going off, but I'm seeing it, and I'm feeling the vibration. Like, I am so sped up right now. This is crazy. And that's when I was like, there's something to this guy's coaching, because we talked every day on the phone. I called you minimum once a day.
But I immediately saw that your relaxation level, which is an integral part of the S.C.O.R.E level, one of the 5 components markers, self-discipline, concentration, optimism, relaxation, and enjoyment.
I've heard that millions of times at this point.
and relaxation, enjoyment, they're next to each other like peanut butter and jelly.
But the next game goes off. It's a homer, more RBIs. You said, okay, all-star game, I don't care. I'm just trying to win here. I'm just trying to do my thing.
Welcome to the Living in the Zone podcast with your host, Jim Fannin. This is your front row seat into the minds of champions. As a master mental performance coach, Jim will pull back the curtain on the hidden strategies that drive peak performance in sports, in business, and in life. If you're an athlete, coach, entrepreneur, or just someone who's ready to level up mentally and step into your greatness, you're in the right place. Welcome to Living in the Zone.
Awesome day, Zoniacs. Welcome to Living in the Zone podcast. I'm your host, Jim Fannin, and I've got a special guest today, also a co-host, Ryan Lidge. Ryan, I coached you 10 years in the Yankee organization. I coached you when you were at Notre Dame. Full disclosure, at that point, I was not coaching any minor leaguers, no offense to minor league baseball. I did coach young tennis players, but other sports, no, I was coaching only the all-star, the all-pro, etc.
Look at me, wow.
Well,
Changing Jim Fannin.
I don't even know why I did that.
I'll tell you why. So the first conversation, so here's the story for everyone. My dad is listening to you on Chicago Sports Radio and how you coached Alex Rodriguez and Frank Thomas. And my dad is unbelievable, and he would do anything for me. So what's he do? I'm going to call this guy up. Because my son needs help at Notre Dame. I was struggling socially. I was struggling athletically. I was struggling academically. I ended up changing my major thanks to you. All these things. I was homesick. It was bad. And my dad even came to visit me and stayed the night one time, which I've already forgot about. He had to remind me. Anyways, I get on the phone with you, and I'm like, I got on the phone with this guy, and my dad said, I called. They said there's a long waiting list. It's Jim Fannin. And then you called him, and you said, I don't know. I just have a gut feeling.
I remember saying that to your dad. I normally don't make that return call. I have somebody else to do it. I am busy. I was given, and still am, 6,000 cell minutes a month. And I did have a waiting list, and I wasn't looking to coach college, student athletes, although I've coached 1 million student athletes in tennis. And now, since then, obviously a lot of student athletes.
But that first conversation, you asked me, why am I talking to you? Why am I returning your call? And I remember saying, I'm going to play in the major leagues. I'm a big leaguer. That's why you're talking to me.
That's every question I've asked. So why am I here?
Yeah.
Why am I here? What's the point? Why are we on the phone together?
Yeah. I don't know. You returned the call.
Well, I asked Alex Rodriguez that. I've asked Frank Thomas that. I've asked everybody that. It's kind of a standard. What's the point? Why are we here? Let's chop. Let's cut to the chase. And I remember you said Major League Baseball.
Yeah. I'm sitting in my parents' den. It's dark in the room. I didn't turn the lights on. Whatever. I wanted to be alone. Like, I'm talking to this guy, and I was like, okay, I'll do it. You said a couple things about changing the way I think, thinking like a big leaguer before it happens. But I have to change, otherwise I'm going to go down the same route I've been going down. And you probably sprinkled a little bit of extras in there, like reading minds and body language and picking up on vibes and hitting for more power, which I struggled with at Notre Dame my freshman year. And when we started, the first thing you told me was to set an alarm on my phone 4 or 5 times in the day to slow my breathing. It's like 8 a.m., 10 a.m., noon, 2, and 4. And I started doing that, walking around campus, and I'm like, whoa, I am so sped up right now. It would shock me when my alarm would go off at 10 a.m., and I'm sitting in class, and it's not going off, but I'm seeing it, and I'm feeling the vibration. I'm like, I am so sped up right now. This is crazy. And that's when I was like, there's something to this guy's coaching, because we talked every day on the phone. I called you minimum once a day on the phone, if not twice if I had to.
For how long?
For 10 years.
10 years. 10 years.
I got to say, me and you maybe had like a combined 2 weeks off in those 2 years where it was like, I'm good, Jim, or, you know, it's my silent day because you had your national silent days or whatever it may be. But because I had that coaching and because I had that system, I was able to play for 12, 13 years and finish playing the best baseball I ever played and not playing weaker.
An all-star with the independent Chicago Dogs during COVID, and that hurt a lot of minor league players. COVID did. It actually ended minor league baseball for a year, almost 2 years.
Yeah, now that was a challenging time, and if I didn't have that system, I would not have been able to make it through it. And a lot of it is the support system as well that you provided, because I can lean on Jim to
the first thing that I do with any client is, why are we here? What do you want? I'm looking for what's going to wake you up at night and what's going to tuck you in bed at night, so we can let's come up with a blueprint to make sure we can manifest that. But I immediately saw that your relaxation level, which is an integral part of the S.C.O.R.E level, one of the 5 components markers: self-discipline, concentration, optimism, relaxation, and enjoyment.
I've heard that millions of times at this point.
and relaxation, enjoyment, they're next to each other like peanut butter and jelly. And if you're relaxed, you're probably enjoying it. If you're a little tense, well, that's not enjoyable. So I immediately saw that you were breathing 15 to 20 breaths a minute, where I wanted you down to 6 to 8 breaths a minute. And that first tool was just control your breathing.
But that allowed me to have mental clarity. It allowed me to slow my thoughts down, which now I can actually think about what I'm thinking about. It's so hard if you don't have a system, if you don't have something that you can just lean back on and manage something with. If it's just a system that you created, that's one thing. But if it's a system that's survived decades of sports and business and just life challenges, and it's always come out on top. Because I had a system in minor league ball at Notre Dame, and then at the end of my career, I was able to be more consistent mentally and physically than the next guy. And it really came to a culmination at the end of my career when I figured some things out physically, but I knew I had the mental side. I just knew it. And
you became a world-class decision maker too. That was one of our quests, to be a world-class decision maker. You would call me and look at me for answers, and I'd throw it right back at you. Go, what are you going to do?
Yeah, and that's what happened in my last 3 years is with Chicago Dogs, Butch Hobson. I made some of my best friends on those teams, and I felt like I was a true leader because I didn't always say things that people liked. I always wanted to be liked in minor league ball and at school, and I think that put me down. I don't think that made me as confident. And once I became a real leader, because I could make the decisions, I was okay with having those uncomfortable moments, uncomfortable conversations, because I believed that it took our team to the next. I mean, we won 3 divisions in a row with that squad.
Impressive.
And me being behind the plate, I know that it had a lot to do with the leadership qualities that those teams had. But because I went off the system without people really knowing it, and sometimes without me even realizing it, because it just becomes second nature at one point, that's why we were able to be so successful with that Chicago Dogs team, where we ended up going to a championship in our last year.
Well, the system, Ryan, I've been asked, how long does this take to learn the system? It doesn't take long to learn it all. It's a very simple system. It's learning cognitive behavioral tools to bolster self-discipline. These tools are 90 seconds or less. Bolster concentration. We have tools for that. To bolster your relaxation. We have tools for that to lower your breathing. And enjoyment. We have tools for that. So we're rich in tools to bolster S.C.O.R.E. But when those are all balanced, because S.C.O.R.E, it operates as a unit. It's a domino-like chain. And so you can have high or low of any of the components. When they're balanced, man, it goes up into a zone state, and you can stretch that 28 days, 30 days, 2 months possible.
Yeah.
You can stretch it.
And I remember, because we lived near each other in Chicago area, and so I would come out to your house, and we would have these, first off, we'd have these, me and you have these riffs where we just go on a tangent about nothing. It's almost like a show of Seinfeld. We're just talking about anything. But then when we got to the nitty-gritty, I just fell in love with this difference that nobody knows about, and I have the advantage of it. And I remember a specific time me and you are sitting in your office. I don't even remember what we're talking about, but I just all of a sudden got this vibe that I'm going to do what Jim does. It just hit me like a wall. And I didn't say anything about it, but I just felt like I think I'm going to be a Jim Fannin. That's what I thought. And now I'm sitting here as a zone coach, having clients of my own, helping their mindset the way that you helped me. And it's the best thing that could have happened to me with the way that baseball was and the way that I am now. I mean, I'm coaching golfers.
I think the best thing that ever happened to you is when I convinced you to not be an accountant. You were in accounting.
I knew you were going there.
You were totally in accounting. And I had the same challenge. I was in accounting, and I debit, credit, LIFO, FIFO. I got all into that, and I'm like, I do not want to be an accountant. I switched immediately to something else, psychology. And you didn't know what to do, but you knew what you didn't want.
Yeah, shout out Connor Biggio for helping, and Phil Mosey for helping guide the path to the film major, which now I edit this podcast, and I edit a lot of our social media.
And find out about, are you in the zone? And if you really want to find out how you stack up with zone performers, check out the description below. Don't forget to subscribe. Give Jimmy some love here. But also check it out, because take the S.C.O.R.E challenge. It is unbelievable. Your mind is going to be blown away. Take the challenge. It's going to show if you think like the best golfer in the world, tennis player in the world. We got 24 assessments. Take a parenting assessment, and you could take a relationship assessment. Don't do it with your wife. Do it by yourself. A little FYI. But take these assessments. It's going to tell you exactly what you need. And then you got a conversation with Ryan, with Caleb, to find out and take a deeper dive on what do I need to do. And they're going to give you specifics that you can do based on your analysis.
Absolutely.
Find out if you're in the zone. So who is in the zone today? I have to tell you, I saw something over the weekend. I know you did. You and I talked about it. But you know who you want to be in the zone. He's the Jaws of sports.
Joey Chestnut.
Joey Chestnut. Let's talk about it, Ryan. I mean, this guy set world record after world record. But put this in perspective. Do you like hot dogs?
I do like hot dogs, Jim.
What's the most hot dogs that you've eaten in one setting?
I bet I put down 4 at one point.
4.
But I might be pushing. You'd have to call my mom and dad on that one. I had like a Portillo's, I'm just hungry after a baseball game.
That's kind of a lightweight.
Yeah, it's lightweight.
You can't even get in the tournament.
Joey had 4 in 40 seconds. Not even.
40.
And more like 14 seconds.
And watching him eat them is really terrifying. And the runner-up, 50 dogs.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, here are the numbers. So Joey Chestnut scarfed down 70 and a half hot dogs. And that's dog and bun. They have to eat the bun with it. And it's the 17th time he's gotten the mustard belt. 17 times. He may be the greatest athlete in his sport, if we're going to call competitive eating a sport.
Did you see the crowd?
Ever.
Did you see? Your brother was there.
My brother was there. Yeah.
How big was that crowd?
He's loving it. And they could barely see because it was kind of around the corner and there's so many people there.
20,000?
I don't know.
It was packed.
But that's what happens on the 4th of July. It's Uncle Sam, fireworks, And
Hot
Coney
dogs.
Island hot dog eating contest. Nathan Hot Dog. So Joey Chestnut's been in the zone his whole career. I don't know if he's ever gotten below third place before. I think he's been doing this since 2005.
But with Joey Chestnut, everything is possible. It was pretty amazing to watch him scarf those things down.
Yeah. I also have someone else in the zone, and this can lead us slightly into who's not in the zone, Jim. In the zone is Seiya Suzuki with the Chicago Cubs. Seiya, for I would say 99% of people watching this show right now, do not know that he leads Major League Baseball in RBIs. Chicago Cubs have the #1 offense in baseball right now. Suzuki was about 75 RBIs. He might be at 77 now by the time this airs. Heading into the All-Star break, it's the first time a Cubs player has had 25 home runs and 75 ribbies since Sammy Sosa in 2001.
And he's not on the All-Star team.
And he's not on the All-Star team because Shohei Ohtani made it over him, and Kyle Schwarber's numbers are right behind him. But to lead the MLB in RBIs and to not get an All-Star game, that can easily lead Suzuki to not be in the zone. But the next game goes off. It's a homer, more RBIs. He said, okay, All-Star game, I don't care. I'm just trying to win here. I'm just trying to do my thing. So Seiya is in the zone, but he also could not be in the zone. And so there's some more snubs, some All-Star snubs that maybe should have made it, maybe got unlucky because of the fan vote.
Juan Soto, how is he not in the zone? Look, he was in the zone in the month of June.
Yeah.
He was the player of the month. He is raking right now, not on the All-Star team. Pretty amazing.
And he just made $700 million this offseason, so that could easily take Soto out of the zone. So what would you do if you were Juan Soto right now?
Well, I would have my own side blueprint goals that I wanted to choose. I would want to set records inside the game. I mean, Soto's in a Hall of Fame march like a few other guys in the league. And so you're just building your legacy. So I would have some well-defined goals, things I've never done before. I'm going to do that. How many doubles have I hit in my career? Okay, well, I'm doing one more this year. How many home runs? Just keep getting better and better and better. It's easy to not keep getting better when you're sitting on $700 million. You know, lions don't always hunt when their belly's full. So, Juan, keep your belly a little bit empty on your own personal goals, and you will be on your way to the Hall of Fame. But how did you not get in the All-Star game? I'm not sure. You've got a Trevor Story who is also, I know Trevor well, I'm coaching Trevor. And Trevor Story, shortstop for the Red Sox. He's been an All-Star. He's having an All-Star year right now. He's got 14 homers, 53 ribbies, 14 stolen bases, and he has been on a tear. Now, in May, he was hitting a $176, I think, in May.
Since this aired, some numbers, in the last 33 games, Trevor's hitting .310 with 16 extra base hits and 32 RBIs. 32 RBIs in 33 games. You do that in high school. You do that in college. You don't do that in the show.
Well, he's doing it in the show. I talk to him every single day. So he's locked in, and he's also someone that, you know, when you are in a zone, I don't want to talk to you a lot. I will avoid you, and to me, less is more. Once you get locked in, when you're aware of being in it, you're not in it any longer. But those three actually players, they should be really positive about what they're doing, but they're probably not in the zone because they're not going to the All-Star game.
Yeah, I think that they'll all stay in the zone. I think that Soto knows he's going for the World Series. I think Trevor knows exactly where he's going. He's got Jim Fannin to help him in the score system. And Suzuki, he's on one of the best teams in baseball as well. So the All-Star game might get you a little
Chicago's
prick.
having fun with the Cubbies now.
Yeah, you might get a little prick where you're like, I wish I got the All-Star, but once it's over, once the break's over, they'll replenish and they'll get their mind right on whatever their vision is for the year. As long as they're disciplined, they'll be okay.
And then I'd be remiss, Brian Campbell.
Brian Campbell
just won his second in a playoff, and pretty exciting.
University of Illinois coached him when he was there?
Illinois, I coached him 4 years when he was there. Great team, a winning team, Big Ten champion. This guy is a baller, very disciplined. Struggled initially out on the tour, but tough. He is a mentally tough guy. High discipline, high ability to focus. His confidence right now is soaring, and he's cool. He's cool under pressure to win 2 tournaments, both in a playoff. Brian Campbell, former Illinois standout, you're in the zone and keep it going. And I've said this, that most players that win a big tournament, you're only as great as the tournament after greatness. I got no challenge with Brian Campbell repeating. I think he could do it. I think he's gone to the next level, and I think he's going to stay on that shelf right there for a while. Could he go another level? Crack the top 10? Well, we'll see.
Illinois golf showing out. Is there another college where their alma maters have won 3 tournaments this year, with 2 from Campbell and 1 from Dietrich?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Let us know if in the comments if we're correct or wrong on that, but I believe that Illinois is showing out strongly.
Well,
on the
Mike
tour
Small's
this year.
been producing winners on and off the field for over a decade, so what a great program. And Brian Campbell, you're in the zone. And now let's go to the Zone Cafe. I want you to be personally with me right now. Right now. You're in the car of life. You're on the road of life. I want you to think about your vision. I want you to put it in your mind's eye right now. I want you to see it. I want you to see it in living color. What do you really want in your life? What would take you to the most amazing place you could be? What's your vision, and what arena is that in? But if you have that vision right now in your mind, let's find out what the missing link may be of making that turn into its manifestation. Thank you, Zoniacs, for watching the clip Who's in the Zone. And if you'd like to see the full podcast, go to Spotify or check it out in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe so we can send the show directly to you. Zoniacs, be in the zone. It's the only place to be.